Let's see if this is better. The right ascension setting circle sits on this hub. Let me bring up here so we can see better. And there's a lip here, okay? And the right ascension setting circle sits on that lip, like that. But you can see that there's still a bit of lip right here. It's about 1 millimeter, okay? This gear sits on top of there, but you can see there's a gap there, okay? That gap is where the spring goes. So when you're putting this back together, you put the right ascension setting circle on, you take your spring, and you extend it around here. Of course, you got to keep an eye on it because it wants to jump away from you. So the spring sits around there, and this comes down on top, okay? There's a relief cut in here, and that sits where the edge of this is. So it will center itself and stay there. As well, there's 6 holes in this hub. 3 of them are coming from the worm gear and have threads, and 3 of them are open and are designed to come to screw comes up through there into this. So you want to align the holes in here with the unthreaded holes when you put it back together again, okay? And you have to do all that. Then you have to take this whole assembly and you have to flip it over, okay? And the trick is you have to put it on the edge. The reason being, the setting circle has these screws sticking out, and they sit too high. So if you just put the whole assembly down, okay, so you have the whole assembly with the spring in there. If you just put it down, then what will happen is the center part can fall away and you lose your spring. There you go. Before you have a chance to get the screws in. So instead, you start over, flip it over, put your spring on. Okay. Put your ring in place, lining up the holes. Okay. Slide it to the edge of the table and grab the whole thing sandwiched. Flip it over and now rest it on the edge of the table like that. Okay, so now the whole thing is still bound up, but these nubs sticking out aren't going to get in the way. Okay, and then you can take your screw and put it through and screw at least one of them down, and then it'll kind of hold it in place and you'll be okay. So that's how you have to deal with that spring when it comes around. Let's take this screw out again. Spring. So let's look at all of what we have here now. So this is the entire right ascension assembly, okay? And like I said, there's going to be grease on all these various surfaces. There might be scratches, there might be damage. You never know. So all these should be cleaned up and polished if possible, degreased completely, get a nice, clean, flat, smooth surface on everything. Here's the right ascension slow motion. You can check all these teeth and make sure they're in good shape. Same thing with the worm gear. If you have chewed up teeth on the worm gear, you're in trouble. These are not replaceable, and they were basically built by hand by the company originally. So you might be able to find some sort of replacement, but I don't know of one. The right ascension hub. This is going to be a tricky one, figuring out how to take this thing apart. I don't see any sort of set screws I don't see C-clips that are often used to hold it together. I mean, you can sit here and spin it by hand. You can feel it. In fact, there's a little bit of tension in there. It's not the smoothest. So I would like to get in there and see what's inside. We're just going to have to figure out how it comes apart. What I do see here is on the small side. I'll zoom in, but you're not going to be able to see it on the camera. There's two little divot marks here on the edge. What those actually are is peening marks. So you take a driver, you put your assembly down, you put, I won't use this as a reference, but you put a pin there, okay, and you hit it with a hammer, and it distorts the metal just enough to hold that in place. So I'm pretty sure that those are what's holding this together. And so the way to fix that is you got to get in and kind of grind those down or file those down somehow. And then maybe you can get this bearing out. And if that one comes out, you probably can drive this one out from the other direction. What is nice is I can read the bearing numbers on here. At least the one. I think I can read that one too. So if I want to replace the bearings, I can probably source them right now and get them ordered and find out what I need. For sure I can read this one. So we'll stop here and we'll continue on after we approach this.